Shadows at War, a novel. Danger in the Shadows, Book 1. Written by Kenneth L. Capps. Narrated by Francis G. Kearney. Chapter 1. April 2004. Young Scott Briggs thought he went unnoticed his first full day of boot camp, as the drill instructors frantically ran back and forth, screaming at the top of their lungs, in order to herd the freshly shaven gaggle of boys into something that resembled a military formation. However, the fine eyes of his Marine Corps drill instructors did not miss the fact that Scott was far from ordinary, as he stood with his face to the blistering South Carolina sun. His skin was no stranger to its punishing rays. It was dark, and the exposed patches not covered by his brand-new camouflage utility uniform shimmered with a fine glaze of sweat. He stood just shy of 5'9", and never rested flat on his heels. To do so would keep him from reacting quickly if the need arose. His extraordinary balance and stance was placed in him by his heritage. His father and mother, and their father and mother before them, all walked the decks and floorboards of small boats tossed about by the movement of wave and wind that showed no mercy to anyone caught flat-footed and unprepared. His forearms were uncommonly thick and looked chiseled out of stone. His upper thigh split into two perfect bundles of muscle that flexed independently of one another, depending on how much weight he burdened them with. His muscles were the product of a working man's life, not pumping iron under the fluorescent lights of a weight room. They came from leaning over the gunwales of small boats and hand-pulling the burdened lines of full crab pots. These crab pots were not only full of blue crab, but also the added overgrowth of barnacles. With each bow of his back as he heaved and pulled, his shoulders had grown wider and his waistline tighter. On his third night, in the Marine Corps recruit depot at Parris Island, South Carolina, 19-year-old Scott Briggs felt he wasn't living up to his potential. He felt average in height and build compared to the other recruits in his platoon, but he was passionate about being a good Marine. Each step he had made in the last 3 days kept running through his mind, and he couldn't sleep. He kept tossing and turning until his full bladder demanded attention. He carefully made his way through the silent barracks to the head. Stepping up to the urinal, he thought he heard something and stood quietly for a few moments, listening.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?